Hey, this is Deepesh, and in this introductory video to the 7-figure Facebook ads playbook, I want to give you a holistic view of what's coming up in the course and how to best make use of it, and also why I've constructed the course in this way as well. When I first started out, it took me a good few years back in 2012 to figure out a way to make Facebook ads work for me, and then another year or so to formularize it. And really what I've done now is to package that all up and give it to you in a training program where I'm also supporting you to get the best out of it. So this introductory video is there to set the stand out and give you an idea of how best to use the material as well. So let me just first start off by asking what your goal is. So when it comes to Facebook advertising, you're going to be looking at a few different things. So whether you're doing digital products, lead gen, e-commerce, mobile app install, it doesn't matter. You're going to have these similar goals. So revenue, it could be sign-ups, sales, profit, reach, engagement. What is Facebook's goal? And you know, the reason I want to pitch this to you is because there's you as an advertiser pushing money into Facebook. There's Facebook taking your money, but think about their goal as well. Well, actually, revenue is one of their goals. Sign-ups, so attracting new users. Monthly active users, that's a huge, huge goal for Facebook. Profit, obviously. Reach and engagement. Now, if you think about it, it's not massively different to your goals, right? However, there are a few slight differences here, and one of the things I want you to really, really appreciate all the way throughout this course is what is the user's goal? What is it that the user wants out of their experience on Facebook? Because I can guarantee it, their goal is not to buy your products, it's not to give you an email address, but it will be something else. And actually, this is something that I pushed out on a survey to many people who are on Facebook, asking, what is it that you actually want out of Facebook? And this is kind of what came up. People want to share stuff. People want to learn stuff from each other. They want to discover something new. They want to belong. You know, this whole sense of community, which is really, really taking off, these sub-communities and groups over the last few years. They want to socialize. They want to share ideas or cat pictures or food pictures. They want to network. They want to build new connections. And also they want to unwind, so they want to watch the funny videos and things like that. And so if you understand that, you'll be able to better ride the waves, because rarely will those outcomes change. What that means is if you go back to, if you go back 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, the goal of the user hasn't massively changed. However, what I find as advertisers is that we're trying to pull people in different directions without understanding what their core goals are. And if you want to master Facebook ads, you need to understand and appreciate and pitch to the user. And it's not Facebook that you're fighting against, it's the user. And so when it comes to mastering Facebook ads, there are a few things that you need to focus on. So number one is the audience. You need to find the best audience. It could be super niche and you could get a really great product in front of them, and you can profit out of an audience of 50k, 100k, or you could go into the millions. And you can take different routes on this. The offer is so important. Now, when I say offer, it's something you're packaging up and giving as a proposition. It could be full price, it could be discounted, it could be packaged, etc. But the offer has to be compelling. The offer includes your products as well. And then the creative. This is how you pitch to the consumer to click or engage or take an interest in your creative. And essentially, you're sucking them out of Facebook into taking an action, and that action has to be something positive for you. This screen here is directly from Facebook, and it's how the auction is set out. And regardless if you want to get into the technicalities or not, understanding the auction, even at a high level, will help you understand how to best get performance out of your ads as well. So here you have 3 key elements that bring up the total value which Facebook assigns to every ad that appears in the auction. So what they're looking at is the advertiser value here, so what kind of bid you're putting in and what kind of action rates you're expected to get back based on what you're optimizing for. So it could be reach, it could be video views, it could be conversions, it could be app installs. And then they're adding in this value for user experience as well. And that is so, so important. That's a weighting which will define what kind of costs you pay and what kind of options you enter as well. And so the bid is all down to kind of audience, bid rate, ad history, objective optimization. Then your estimated action rate is the audience. but also the objective and the optimization that you're playing against. So to give an example, if you're running a website conversion campaign and you're optimizing for purchase, Facebook is estimating what the likely conversion rate is for your purchase pixel. And that's why if you don't have enough purchases, Facebook recommends that you use a different optimized value, because they need those conversions to do this calculation. So recently they switched to a higher number for conversions because they need more and more data. The niche, the pixel, history, etc., everything comes into play here. And the user experience is about many things, but ultimately it's the relevance score for the ad and the relevancy of the ad for the audience, landing page speed, which a lot of people miss out on and underestimate, the sales funnel experience, so are people able to get through? You know, Facebook can track how far people are going down your sales funnel, and if people are exiting consistently at the cart rate, Facebook will know this and it will learn and it will adapt the auction for you negatively as well. Also the user history and bounce rate. So alongside landing page speed, bounce rate is another indicator that the experience is not good for the user. And so to kind of scale predictably, and something which I really want to cover off with you in the course, there are many things that come together, and this is all about giving you the tools and the knowledge to be able to create campaigns that are profitable and are scalable. Pixel setup, campaign build, the content, the insights, audiences and creative, budgets and pacing, scaling strategy, landing page and site funnel performance all play a big part in maximizing the whole part of your campaign and giving you the best performance in the auction. One of the things to also take away is that each and every person on Facebook has a value which Facebook calculates, and that value differs by audience, by advertiser, etc. So you, as someone on Facebook, Facebook gives you a value, and it depends on, you know, let's say you're a person that's interested in a specific kind of sport, and there's a advertiser that's targeting people interested in that sport. If you have a match, then all of a sudden your value goes that much higher. If, for example, Facebook the advertiser is broadly targeting people who might be like you, then your value may be slightly lower. And so Facebook evaluates each person based on each auction that comes in. So going slightly more into the numbers, let's take this example where the cost per 1,000 impressions is $5. It means that it costs you $5 to get your ad delivered 1,000 times. It could be 1,000 times to more, you know, 1,000 individual people. It could be more than once as well. So this is per impression. Or if you look at it the other way round, it costs $0.005 for each individual ad that's been served to your audience. And if you look at it this way, it's not actually that expensive to get your ad in front of one person. But as you know, you need thousands and thousands of people to see your ad to convert. But it doesn't have to be that way. If your audience targeting is so good, your ad is so good, your offer is so good, you can maximize the performance of your CPMs. And so essentially here, the cost of winning the one auction on average is $0.005 of a dollar. And so kind of that's the average value. Some will cost more, some will cost less. And so your kind of CPM is averaged out. Not every user within that is equally evaluated as well. And the key thing here is to create their value first and then your goal. And what I mean by that is work from it backwards. So when you think about audience and targeting and creative, start with the user in mind and then work on your bidding and your strategy and your budgets and all of the kind of optimizations and things like that. That is just so important when it comes to understanding how to make Facebook ads work. So really just throughout this course, be thinking about the user and the value you are delivering for them. It's all about the value that they take away as to whether your ad is going to work or not. And so, you know, just kind of through this whole course, value before action. So if you want them to click, what's the value I'm giving before they click? If you want them to view the video, what's the value I'm giving? Just concentrate on that value, because it's a huge part of the auction. Now, if I kind of break up the key elements that make up user value, targeting relevance. So if you're targeting people who are not interested in cats and you're selling products that are related to cats, your relevance is 0. So obviously targeting people that are relevant to your product is important. The ad relevance as well, so making sure that the creative is completely on point as well. The landing page experience and your sales funnel. So all those kind of factors come in to build up your relevance score, and that's the kind of big weighting which has a big impact on your auction as well. So you'll have situations where your relevance score is 1 and 2, and you're still profitable, CPAs are good, ROAS is good, cost per lead is good, but it doesn't mean that you can't do better. So I've scaled companies into the hundreds of thousands a month in spend that have had low relevance score. We try to get the relevance score up, but they're still profitable. However, if you can get the relevance score up, you're squeezing more profit out as well. So just bear that in mind. And this is a quote from Facebook worth understanding. Our goal is to match the right ad to the right person at the right time. This is different than a traditional auction because the winner isn't the ad with the highest monetary bid, but the ad that creates the most total value. So this is actually how Google started out with their paid search, that you just bid high and win the placements. Google recognized that this approach wasn't working best because it doesn't mean that if someone's bidding the highest, it's the best experience for the user. So Google made this change actually some time ago with a metric called quality score. And it's something that Facebook piggybacks, I think about around 2013, 2014, and started to use something similar. So, you can maximize your bid, but if the quality of your ad and the feedback from landing page and bounce rate is negative, you will get penalized in the auction. And that's kind of how Facebook work. And you could end up paying 2, 3, 4, 5 times more for that same user than someone else would that has a better experience. So that's just something to bear in mind as well. So how do you maximize the user experience? This is my kind of big signature part of this course, which I call the graduation framework. No matter what level of advertiser you are, I really encourage you to spend the time understanding the graduation framework, how it works, and how you can improve your testing before you start optimizing the scaling. Because this, for me, is the key to maximizing the user experience and making sure that you're validating your audiences and your ads before you start to spend money behind them as well. It's worked for me across many companies, across many objectives, many niches, and it's working for other students as well. And I really encourage you to understand the graduation framework. And then kind of think about creating value for yourself after. So once you've got the graduation framework underway, you've got your ads working well, you've gone through kind of how to construct great ads and funnels and things like that, then think about maximizing the advertiser value. That's yours. So that's all the technicalities of optimizing your ad sets, your budgets, your bids, your conversions, etc. Because as I keep saying, the user value comes first. So this is another quote from Facebook that I'll take you through. Total values determine who wins an auction, but not when or how the winner is charged. You get charged when the result you've chosen to be charged for during an ad set creation occurs. The amount you get charged is the minimum amount we would have needed to set your bid at to win the auction. This means 2 things. You'll often be charged less than your bid. There's no advantage to setting overly restrictive bid caps. In fact, doing so may lead to losing auctions that would have otherwise won at no additional cost. So what this means is Facebook will, if you bid, let's say, $100 in an ad set, it doesn't mean for manual bid that you will pay $100. It just means that Facebook is able to bid higher and higher and higher based on your total value. So let's say, for example, you're bidding on a website conversion objective and you're optimizing for the purchase pixel, and on average your cost per acquisition target is, let's say, $25. If now you bid $100, what it says is, if I calculate the bid times the estimated rate, so this is kind of like looking at your CPC and your conversion rate, then I can go up to a blend which takes me up to $100, and I can bid higher and higher, and kind of your CPM can go higher as well. It doesn't mean you're going to pay $100, but it does mean that if the auctions are a lot more expensive, you could get a higher CPM. Now, if you get a higher CPM, but the user is of a higher value, and and the user converts higher than your kind of normal users would, then the net value is often positive. Now, there's a lot to kind of just wrap your head around there, but it's just worth knowing that in a given auction, everyone has a value, and it doesn't mean that the cheapest auctions are going to be the most profitable. It could just be that the cheaper auctions are the lower quality users, and the more expensive auctions are the higher quality users. Not always the case, but often the case, and that's where manual bidding comes into play. So later on in the training, I'll take you through kind of how to master manual bidding, but just for now, it's worth knowing that when you're playing around with bids, the bid value isn't the be-all and end-all. So, how do you win the auction? You uncover your best audience and creative pairings, you optimize your performance, you scale your performance, you optimize again, you segment, you cycle, and repeat. So what does that mean in practical terms? Well, I have the secrets you're looking for. And actually, the training course, again, is just tailored all around this. So we have the graduation framework, the ad sniper, V-scaling, ad sniper, H-scale. These are all modules that you'll see as you go through the training. But this kind of just maps out the whole training course in one screen. So we cover off funnels, data, content, audiences to really push into the graduation framework. And that's why I put so much emphasis on the graduation framework, because it's the core of really everything I do when it comes to testing and looking for new audiences and new creatives. And then that fires up audiences, and within each of the audiences I create, I'm then running sub-strategies within that. So you'll come across the ad sniper, the V-scaling, and then kind of the graduation again to bring you ads in, ad sniper again, H-scaling. So these are just strategies within kind of the growth part, which you'll come to as you go through the training, where I'm using different strategies, but it's all based off of this concept of the graduation framework. So this is where I'll spend $5 to $10 a day testing different ads and different audiences, and then move them into my main campaigns to then start scaling and optimizing as well. Sounds simple, right? Well, actually, this is how I actually see Facebook ads. Now, I've been doing marketing now for over 15 years. I started off as a developer. I kind of get the whole technicalities. I've got a quite balanced left brain and right brain, so I can look at the creative as much as the technical and the data. And when it comes to Facebook, this is kind of what I see. So it's all kind of matrixy and all data, etc. But part of this course is also about giving you the structure in as simple as format as possible. So what I've done is to break that down into the core chunks that are going to help you to scale. So data and insights and graduation framework and the kind of foundation of funnels and scaling and optimization, giving you rules and optimization, looking at the sales funnel and getting the best out of that, and then really breaking that down into as simple a course as I could get, but to maximize the impact for you as well. And actually there's 3 core modules which are around testing, optimization, and growth, and they're the kind of key things which we'll be going through in the training, as well as the foundations as well. And so what I have tried to do is to pull out these 3 sections and create formulas and strategies for you. So for example, the 4-step funnel system is about giving you the structure for campaigns to be able to budget and optimize and analyze better. The 3M ads formula is about giving you structure around ad creation, and kind of how I look at 3 key parts of the ad, which is to stop the scroll, which is to engage, and which is to get an action out of the user. The graduation framework, which you'll come across, and the kind of course concepts around testing audiences and ads. The whole optimization part, which is around data and helping you to make better decisions with that data. The ad sniper strategy, which will help you to maintain profitability and optimization. The sales funnel optimizer, where I'll go through some of the tools that I use to optimize the sales funnel. And then into the kind of growth stage. So V and H scaling, which you'll come across, and the automation accelerator. So that's really the core of the course that I've spent many, many months putting together to bring you something as simple as possible. But don't mistake that simplicity for anything basic. You know, this course is designed to take you through the basics of foundation and testing, but to then handhold you through to optimization and growth. And, you know, my knowledge, my experience, all of this has gone into packing as much into a short amount of videos and modules as possible, and to provide you with the mastermind support to get the most out of this. So do go through each of the training modules and understand, ask questions, get the support, and test. You know, this is all about testing and seeing what works for your product. There are so many variables outside of the training which come into play. So ultimately your targeting, your creative, your audience, your offer, etc. But this the core parts of this course are there to give you everything you need at every stage of your journey as well. I wish you luck through the course, and do use the support available, and let's get ready to rumble.